unclear who the saying, "It can always be worse," is meant for. Like, is it supposed to be uplifting? Don't complain about your weak jawline. It can always be worse. You could have big doe eyes instead of sexy hunter eyes. How will people know that you're a predator and not a prey? Or is it just supposed to be dismissive? Your complaint does not match this imaginary threshold I've created in my mind about the amount of distress you can be in, so quit complaining. Either way, "it can always be worse" is not a very productive, nor is it a very helpful comment to ever make. Like, what does that even mean? A girl named Liv is very suspicious that her boyfriend, for the past 8 months, has been cheating on her. But it can always be worse, right? But what if it's as bad as it can possibly get? What if there is no worse? This is the bottom. Then what do you say? Liv and Mason have been together for about 8 months, and she has this gut feeling that he is cheating on her. Enough so that she either wakes up or stays awake until 7 in the morning, and she notices that he's asleep in bed next to her, which, side note, how dare he rest? And that's not sarcasm, I'm being very serious. How dare he slumber? He's snoozing away. Liv reaches over, and there is only one way to find out if he's cheating on her, which is go through his phone. What else is there to do? She starts going through it, his messages, his most recent chat history. And within the next hour or so, Liv hastily packs some of her things, practically makes a run for it. She leaves without waking him up. She doesn't even seem to leave a note, nothing. She just gets out of there. Because Liv went in there with the suspicion that he was cheating on her, which sure, it can always be worse. But what she finds in his phone is the quote, worse. It doesn't get worse from here. This is the worst thing that could be found on his phone. And she has all the evidence. She's going to the police with it. And he hasn't been discreet about it either. I mean, usually when you combine a profile picture of breasts with an unknown user on Telegram, yeah, your girlfriend is probably going to go through the chat history. I'm not sure what Liv was expecting. Perhaps the worst, or at least the worst that she and probably most others can imagine. She clicks open the chat. The unknown user is messaging her boyfriend, Mason. CP, teens, and all group links available. Which package are you interested in, and what's your budget?
Wait, who's texting this?
This unknown Telegram profile with boobs is texting her boyfriend. Okay, which is alarming, right? But it could always be a scam. It could be a spam message, a phisher, but her boyfriend Mason responds, CP, $25 max. They respond, okay, I get quality CP mega link with large good files of 2,500 HD video files. Liv is reading as the two of them start going down the path of talking about how the payment is going to be secured. Her boyfriend that's laying right next to her is sending pictures showing that the payment went through. And that's not the only message. She clicks another conversation that her boyfriend initiates with a suspicious user. Her boyfriend starts the conversation, hi. The other party responds, CP content available. Her boyfriend asks, how much? And they respond, $20 for videos, $30 for mega links, $40 for joining CP group, $80 for all of the above. Her boyfriend Mason seemingly voices his pick by texting back, okay, $20. He is then redirected to message another user, which has some variation of like trusted seller in their username, so that's promising. He's told to message him to get a link for the content. The boyfriend messages them April 27th, and the next day, presumably after getting the link, he asks for more content and states that he's willing to pay $10. She clicks on one of the links, and she later describes to the police she saw little girls between the ages anywhere between 6 to like 10 years old, and some as young as 3 years old, toddlers. This is the case of Mason Hull, a TikTok influencer, looks maxer to be exact, who was exposed by his ex-girlfriend for purchasing CSAM.
And all the allegations were true, right? Not all, but some, yes. Okay, well, the child stuff was true, right? Oh.
And all of his bizarre excuses, and why there are still it's kind of like a horror movie. So you picture a high school guy named Norm. He's not like the most conventionally attractive person out there, but like objectively speaking, I guess you could say that Norm has troubled skin. His skin is full of acne and blemishes. He's not ripped or jacked like the high school jocks. His jawline is non-existent thanks to his very hungry appetite. Like, he's on the shorter side. His eyes are dark brown. His shoulders shoulders are slumped. God, his fucking shoulders are very slim, is what Norm would say. And his neck is way too skinny. And he's got big, doe-ass eyes, like little Bambi caught in some headlights. That's what Norm looks like. Norm is every normal teenage high school boy, and he decides that he is going to ask out his crush, his one true love, a girl named Becky, who he believes he has a very good chance at because they're both not that popular. They're not the most conventionally attractive. They're kind of the outcast. Norm asks Becky to go to prom with him, but Becky the bitch, doesn't just reject him, she chuckles in his face. She goes around telling everyone he gives her the creeps, and she's so flabbergasted that he would even fathom the idea that they could ever be together for such an important event like prom. This sends Norm over the edge. He grabs a hammer, a used Home Depot hammer from his parents' garage, and he starts hitting his face with the hammer. He starts taking substances to stay awake and lose weight. He's barely consuming enough calories to survive. He slips in insoles into his shoes. He finds testosterone on the black market from some random suspicious third-party retailer that is definitely not a doctor or a licensed pharmacist, and he starts taking testosterone and steroids. He starts pulling at his face, snorting lines of Accutane. He's probably just taking the pills, but that's being dramatic. And now he has transformed. He has ascended, they say, from Norm to Chad Light. And now when he walks by Becky the bitch in the hallways, all she can do is leave a trail of drool, like a snail trail, because she is so mesmerized by his masculinity, by his appearance, by his looks. But Chad Light now, walks right past loser Becky in the hallway and straight up to the blonde, hot cheerleader Stacy and asks her out. She, of course, says yes, but nothing else, because hot girls should never speak. Duh, that's what makes them hot. And they ride off into the distance, riding each other. Except not really, because Chad Light has erectile dysfunction from all the substances he's been pumping for his transformation. But that's not the point. The point is, he has mogged everybody. Welcome to the wet dreams and inner ramblings and fantasies of a looksmaxer. Do I think...
That's their fanfic?
Basically. And I'm not even, joking with you. They write on forums like this.
Say this? Write
Yeah.
this? That's... wow.
Do I think that everyone in the looksmaxing community thinks like this? Probably not. Do I think that there's enough people that think this way that it's almost become a meme? Absolutely. Now, I do want to make a quick disclaimer as a girl who went through an ugly phase in high school and is probably still in the tail end of said ugly phase. I'm just getting old enough not to really care about it. I do have a lot of sympathy for people who feel overwhelmed by societal pressure to change their appearance and meet some sort of arbitrary beauty standard that is most likely not even attainable, nor is it healthy in the long run. I don't judge a single person who gets consumed over their appearance. I don't think it's vain in the slightest. I think it's very understandable pain to look at yourself in the mirror and not be happy with what you see. I think everyone can relate to that. However, sometimes I think people's reasonings behind why they're doing such drastic things for their appearance is a little silly goofy. If it's to show Becky the bitch from high school that you're better than her, it's just kind of weird. I also think that if you're out here peddling all these methods, you call them, to children on how they can not be ugly and keep mogging, and you're just giving harmful advice such as blunt force trauma to the face via a hammer, I think it's free game to openly shit on those individuals if their net impact is a net negative to their audience. Maybe we should dissect some of their little thought patterns. So with that, let's get into the world of looksmaxing. It's very hard to pinpoint. Looksmaxing is difficult to define. At face value, it's just the idea that you need to take care of yourself because we live in a society where things like pretty privilege exist. So take care of your health, eat healthy, do your skincare, be hygienic, which I don't think inherently seems like a bad thing at all. In fact, I do think if you can afford it and you're able-bodied, self-grooming is not a bad idea. It's probably a very good thing to adopt. However, looksmaxing is just not just that. They take it a step further, where they have decided that not only are looks the most important thing in your life, but also there are only a few set of traits that are considered attractive. Everything else, you might as well roll around in dog shit and call it a day because you're never going to be considered hot. One looksmaxer states,
first impressions are visual, not verbal, so you are literally being judged before you even say anything.
Think about when you see an attractive person out in public on the train or something. Your brain is literally making assumptions. You're perceiving who they are as a person person before you even talk to them. It takes an extreme level of willpower and critical thinking to not judge someone based on how they look at first glance.
I know a lot of you people are probably coping, thinking that you don't do this, but literally it's hardwired into our psychology. I believe looks maxing is the future.
I don't know if he's like fucking running for office, okay? But
let me say this. I think that it might be a trend currently at the moment, but I think something so hardwired into our brain and rooted into our biology is not going to leave. I think that we just all of a sudden understood the importance recently of this, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger.
he says that looks maxing can be broken into two groups, appeal and PSL. Appeal is literally maximizing how attractive you are in the real world and to others, whereas PSL is maximizing your online little PSL score of how attractive you are objectively by measurements that are made in looks maxing forums.
PSL, what does that stand for?
We're gonna get there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it gets crazy. So I looked into it. It ranges from 0 to 8. Okay, 8 being high. PSL doesn't stand for anything that's going to be enlightening. So to everyone's surprise, it does not stand for pumpkin spice latte. It actually stands for PUA hate, which was a back then online forum.
PUA hate.
Yeah, pickup artist hate.
Okay.
I was thinking pickup artist hate. They
Sign
must
me
be
up.
for the girls. Yeah, sign me up. I want to be on that forum. It is now like a defunct forum, and they hated pickup artists, not because they stand for women and not manipulating women, but they said that pickup artists are online schemers who sell ugly boys courses, and it doesn't matter how charismatic or funny you are because girls only like hot chads, so it'll never work.
All right, the boys are fighting.
Yeah, the boys are fighting by themselves on who's uglier. It's so weird. Then there's another one, slut hate, lookism, PSL. Yeah. But now they've relabeled it perceived sexual level scale. This is like the incel looks maxing initial 3 trifecta forums that existed. Like this is before Reddit. Well, I don't know if Reddit was around, but this is before, like, instead of you used to go to puhate.com versus like r/puhate, you know what I mean? PUA hate, but yeah, PSL, perceived sexual level scale. Here's the scale. You have to judge the face based off of 4 categories. Harmony, how well your features work together. Dimorphism, how distinct you look from the opposite sex. Angularity, how sharp you look, so low body fat. And miscellaneous, which is your individual features such as eyebrow thickness, skin clarity, nasolabial folds, color, contrast, nose shape, teeth, hair. The lowest tier is 0.25 to 1.5 in PSL ranking. That tier is called subhuman, so they're like straight to the chase. They don't really beat around the bush. Only 1 in 2,000 people make it into the lowest tier, which is described as individuals falling within this category are exceptionally unattractive and often exhibit deformities. Revealing their face could genuinely frighten people, and they have almost no redeeming facial qualities. In that, quote, real cause of medical and surgical consultation. Then you have 1.5 to 3, which is a low tier normie. Normie being a mediocre bitch, basically. Okay. 1 in 7 people fall into this category. I genuinely don't know how the math adds up, but here we are, right? I don't think looks maxers are known for their mathematical abilities. Individuals falling into this category possess an ordinary level of unattractiveness. You're just like regular ugly. They might face bullying due to their appearance, generally considered ugly in real life, but nothing serious. Great. So not seriously ugly, just like moderately ugly. Love it. Then you have 2 to 4.5, which is the mid-tier normie. 1 in 2 people fit in this standard according to who the fuck knows, and it is described as individuals belonging to this group are entirely average. They epitomize the common person. While they might be seen as unattractive by a few, in truth, they are simply ordinary. Then you have 4.5 to 5.5 tier, the high tier normies. Individuals falling into this group are typically seen as appealing and good looking, often being among the most attractive individuals in a classroom or a small workplace setting. So tell me why, in this example list for this tier, some mashed potato for brain looks maxer placed photos of Michael B. Jordan and Zendaya as high tier normies. I don't know what the looks maxers have against Michael B. Jordan, because another one rated Michael B. Jordan. They said actually he's 3.5. He's, quote, super facially challenged, which is not what
Super facially?
Yeah. It's not what any woman alive thinks, especially after the movie Sinners, but like, okay, sure. Then you have the tier above, 5.5 to 6, Chad Light.
Oof.
Individuals falling into this category experience an advantage in their lives.
Do they ever show their
Yes.
own face?
Usually not.
Okay,
Usually
okay.
not. Yeah. Of course not. So in my head, they just look like a fucking Giga Chad. Yeah, I'm just like, okay, sure. Like you look like the drawing, not a real Giga Chad, like the
know.
drawing of the Giga
Yeah,
Chad. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, and they say advantage in their lives due to their looks, huge advantage. Their appearance can potentially launch a modeling career or lead to a substantial following on social media. Above that is 6 to 7.25. These are the real Chads, not the fucking diet version, not the light, the reals. Individuals belonging to this category would easily stand out in a crowd, often possessing at least one striking feature, if not more. They typically encounter no difficulties with attracting romantic partners unless facing severe mental health issues. Their looks serve as an extreme advantage in various aspects of their lives. Then there's 7.25 to 7.75 to 8, the Giga Chads. Widely recognized for their exceptional looks, characterized by extremely minimal flaws such as slightly unideal eye spacing or subtle variations in brow color and nose shape. These individuals are rare, with only a handful found globally. They are considered the elite of the modeling world due to their near-perfect features. Then you have the Terra Chads, 7.75 to 8. Anything in this category is impossible. Attaining this level is virtually impossible. No one can achieve absolute perfection or universal attractiveness to every woman worldwide. This destination is reserved for mythical features like Adonis or Apollo. It's like a lot, okay? The arbitrary rankings are just a whole bunch of nonsense that has looksmaxers whipping out Adobe Photoshop to get facial measurements on someone's face. For example, ideally, the width of the eye should be 3 times its vertical height.
You know, have you seen those people put the
Chad, yes!
like they Photoshop people's face
Yes.
into like a full
The perfect
scale,
face, yes.
and then they all look so weird
So
afterwards.
gross, yes. That's what the looksmaxers want.
Yeah,
That's what they dream about. The symmetry for some has almost become like an obsession. The face has to like have facial symmetry that abide by the facial thirds rule. I guess if you want to have a chance at feeling a cuddle from like a fellow warm body, you have to have like perfectly thirds. It's got to be imaginary thirds, okay? Each segment must occupy 1/3 of the face's total height. Forehead is a third. This part is a third. Your lower part needs to be a third. And it's not just the only random test out there. There's also the very, very real, everybody abides by this because of course we do, the SMV. That stands for sexual market value, which takes into your account your job, your popularity, your weight, height, facial rating to figure out your value in some sort of horned up farmer's market. This is exactly what happens when I go out with my girlfriends. We sit there and I say, what the fuck is his SMV? Let's calculate right now. Bring out your calculator because we're dumb and we don't know how to do math because we're just girls. Like, what are you talking about? Looksmaxing and looksmaxers seem to be part of the manosphere, the red pill, black pill, if you will. If you've ever been confused, just know that if you click on a live stream, and it must be a live stream, it cannot be like a video, and it's not taking place in a hotel convention center, and you just see a bunch of dudes in a nice modern house in Los Angeles or Miami. It's typically one of those two cities. And it's a bunch of white guys wearing suits, holding cigars while flashing their watches and Cuban link chains. And you realize that they're not attending any sort of formal event that would require a suit. They did not just get back from a wedding or some sort of work convention. This is the event. The live stream is the event. They just look like a fucking butler from the Ritz in Paris. You're probably stumbling upon some looksmaxers to some degree, and more often than not, they can be considered part of the manosphere. They all just feed into each other's pipelines. The pill pipeline. Which drug would you like? There's a lot of pills. We know the main ones, red, blue, black. Okay, so the pill color indicates basically like how much are you getting?
Hold on.
Yeah,
Slow down. Okay, back to the live stream.
Yes.
So there are a bunch of guys dressed in suits
Yes.
with holding a cigar, sitting around a table or standing there. What are they
So
doing?
sometimes they sit around the table and it's like the juxtaposition of the men in suits in like gaming chairs and like roll around office chairs, and they're all like sitting in a semicircle, and then we're the other half of the circle, the live stream camera. Or sometimes it's like IRL live stream. Someone's following the whole mansion and they're all just like standing on the balcony. You can see the city of angels behind them and they've got a cigar.
They're streamers or?
Yeah, they're streamers and like it's just a bunch of dudes. You don't see a woman in sight and they just talk about women.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I've actually never seen that even like as a clip before. Is that a big trend or?
You know, I went to the depths of really messing up my algorithm for this one, okay? I didn't see any casually until this, but it seems like they're popular.
Are their audience mostly men then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like a circle jerk. And like when I mean, you're going to know these people. It's like, I don't know what his name is. I forget his name. But like the Tate brothers hang out with them. It's like the manosphere.
I see.
Yeah.
Are they look maxers or?
Yes.
Oh, they are considered?
Manosphere is, looks maxers are like a subset of the manosphere. Not all looks maxers are part of the manosphere. It's like not all Christians go to church, right?
Yeah,
Type of vibe. But
Do they call themselves look maxers?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I don't think the Tate brothers do.
Do you have to look certain way to call yourself a look maxer?
I mean, probably because you might get laughed at if you don't.
Right.
While I was going down the whole rabbit hole, I did see their arrest footage. And I just want to say one thing and one thing only. And this is my only opinion right now that I'm going to give you. I don't even think I own a pair of pants that tight. Even in my hoiest of hoe days. Never. It's cutting off circulation. It's basically like compression pants. He's going, like, is he trying to get on a plane? Anyway, the pill color indicates how strong the misogyny coursing through the veins is, and probably is a direct correlation of how often you get laid. I'm only half kidding, but not really. Red pill appears to be how it all started. It's from the movie The Matrix. Which is like a movie you cannot watch anymore without having incels talking about it. If you take the red pill, you've watched the movie, red pill, blue pill. If you take the red pill, that means you have woken up to the system of the real world, where you realize women have the advantage and female oppression is a myth. Typically, women are manipulative, lying, scheming creatures who really only care about status and looks. And they will tell you that they want someone with a good personality, but in reality, they just want a rich Chad with a fat wallet who walks like it's heavy. That's it. Blue pill means a man who has not woken up to his reality. A lot of red pillars think that blue pillars are doormats putting women on pedestals. They haven't taken the red pill yet. They're just a bunch of bozos. And then you have the purple pill. Usually someone who is both red and blue pill. They agree with aspects of both sides, but they're not as aggressively like one or the other. And then you have the black pillars, and they seem to be where a lot of the looks maxers fit in. So red pill is typically synonymous with incels.
Okay.
Black pill too, but black pillars have this, they do have intimate relations, it seems, however sparse. I believe black pillars believe that the system is too far gone to change. This is just how life is and how life is going to be forever. Looks are at the center of everything and there's no way to change it. But looks maxers within the black pill community, instead of taking on the very nihilistic approach of, well then what's the point of trying, they aggressively try. They do everything to change how they look so they can bring up their sexual market value. And for them, women are just numbers to be conquered that will enforce their SMV.
So do they care about anything else besides look? Do they care about like
aura?
No, but like substance
Abuse, yes, but no personality.
Okay.
They believe that women don't care for personality.
Like brain, personality, nothing. Just
No, they
appearances.
think women care about looks first, and then fame, status, and money second, and then nothing else.
That's
really.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
They think looks is okay. I mean, it makes sense to them, but wow.
But not sense to anyone else, because I feel like we've had this conversation too. We were talking to a bunch of, we were like, oh yeah, what do you guys categorize? And like pretty much every girl I know is like, oh yeah, personality. I just need them to be fucking funny. Yeah, it's interesting. Now, looks maxing is a term that was developed in the early 2010s on, like I said, openly misogynistic forums like P-way hate, slut hate, lookism. It's technically an ideology that appearance is the end-all be-all. Just based off how you look, it's going to dictate who you date, how much money you make, and pretty much every other aspect of your life. Now, I will say I do have some, like, level of sympathy for looks maxers in the sense of I think they're like feeling what girls feel of like damn, people will judge my looks before they judge anything else. That kind of sucks. So I understand, and I think it is a very miserable place to be. But I do think the hatred that's placed on women is probably not great. That's the part where I'm like, oh, you're losing us. You're losing lots of people. It's kind of getting weird and violent and scary.
Interesting.
Yeah. But just know that the looks maxing, black pill, red pill pipeline is very alive and well. It's being maintained every single day by some chiseled chads who on the internet dream about live streaming with the likes of the Tate brothers wearing booty tight trousers that you will only see in West Hollywood. Someone on Reddit describes it like this: blue pill, they tell you, just be yourself and a girl will date you. Red pill, just have game, otherwise they don't care. Black pill, just be hot. Purple pill, just be a little bit of every pill with moderation. And the best way to be the king of the looks maxers, the king of the black pills, is to mog. Mog so hard you don't remember a time where you were not mogging. It all starts and ends with mogging. According to Clavicular, more on him later, one of the biggest moggers on the internet, poster child for looks maxers, he says mog comes from AMOG, an acronym which he states used to stand for alpha male of the group, but now they just shortened it to mog. It means you out hot whoever you're standing next to.
It's not just these super intensive plastic surgeries or these cosmetic procedures. It's just anything that's going to improve your looks.
The looks maxers take it so seriously, they have World War mogs. They have a place called Mogwarts. It's a paid course where they teach you how to be the moggiest of moggers so you can forever mog.
Okay. How do you do that?
I didn't pay. It's $50 a month, honey.
Oh.
Yeah, you can height mog. Just means you're taller than whoever you're standing next to. Frame mog, you're more jacked than the person you're standing next to. Neck mog, you've got a wider neck. This is a good thing. The wide neck epidemic needs to be studied in the future. There are pictures that looks maxers will show you what the perfect neck looks like. Just think of your neck to be the exact width of your face. It's a lot of neck. It's just like a tree trunk implanted under your chin. Decapitation is a faraway worry for any real looks maxer because their neck is just a behemoth. One person says a big problem that I see with a lot of guys is their neck is simply too skinny compared to the size of their head. Because it's too small, their entire facial harmony and facial masculinity is thrown off, which makes them less attractive. Also, they need to do eye corner pulling, which if you do in public, I'm going to call you racist, but it's just like where you like do this, okay? It's like you stretch the sides of your eye, and they say this is something that is meant to train the muscles around your eyes over time, teaching those muscles to hold your eyes in a sharper position. It will essentially allow you to achieve more hunter-like eyes over time. They want your eyes to look predatory. Do they look predatory? No, these looks maxers just look like they're fucking squinting. Like it's too bright in the room and they're squinting all the time. Hunter eyes. I mean, they're supposed to be deep set in the face. No upper eyelid exposure. Studies, apparently, they cite random studies, okay, have shown that individuals with hunter eyes are generally perceived as more attractive. They say be careful though with the hunter eyes exercises because the skin around the eyes is very thin and sensitive. Ophthalmologists have come forward to say don't do that. Don't even try doing that, but okay. You must also mew to the gods. It's your sacrifice that you must make to the deities. One looks maxer says, mewing is a must. We should all be mewing 24/7. So you know what mewing is, right? The tongue has to sit on the roof of your mouth and it makes your jaw more chiseled. Apparently it's the correct tongue placement. I don't know. A lot of this stuff is just silly, goofy stuff that the girly pops invented and guys have rebranded it, infringed upon our girly trademarks and renamed it something that sounds more masculine so they don't feel gay while they do a 9-step skincare routine. God forbid. He did. But he's been more open to it these days. Nevertheless, they're mewing. They're doing skincare. They're also just like doing color theory. They say your teeth should match the whiteness of your eye whites because if it's whiter than that, you look uncanny, you look unnatural. Freaky color theory, but color theory nonetheless. But also for men, the mouth has to be wide. If not wide, there's no point in even opening your mouth to talk. If you don't have a wide mouth, worry not, it's not entirely hopeless. You still have a chance at living a meaningful life and contributing to society. You could always get a mouth expander. Or perhaps I could interest you in having the simple procedure of having a doctor cut open the sides of your mouth to make it wider. But why have a doctor do it when you have a pair of scissors and a roll of gauze at home?
Lord. Really?
Yeah.
Are people doing that?
I would
like
say...
a joker?
Yeah, but more so at the doctor's office.
Does it work?
I actually don't see it a lot with the mouth as much as I see it with the eyes. It's actually a pretty common procedure in other countries to cut the sides of your eyes to make a bigger a wider eye, a bigger eye.
Oof.
I think a lot of people watching can relate to the misery that is trying to be conventionally attractive. So this is not me trying to be snarky or say like, oh, look at them trying to be hot. When like we're all trying to be hot and we're all failing miserably. It's just the way they go about it is a little weird. And the way that like, I think also, maybe I'm not conveying correctly. If you
I think they're too judgmental, right? Like
they're too judgmental to each other and to kids who go on the forum, like 14-year-old boys. And on top of that, all of this angst that they have of feeling conventionally attractive is directed straight into hatred for women. So that's why we're poking fun. It's not because it's like snarky, like, haha, look at them. They're pathetic. Like, we're all pathetic, right? But it's just brutal. There's subreddits like r/true rate me, and people will post pictures of themselves to have anonymous, but most likely guys that smell like wet moldy towels and a greasy keyboard rate some of the prettiest people I've seen, and they say, oh, you're a 6.2 on a good day with makeup. And I'm like, that person could be on a TV show. They tell other people, seemingly underage boys, that they're not mogging hard enough and they should chew on a towel, which is a thing. It's called towel chewing, towel pulling, or whatever. And you bite on a towel so you can train your jaw. You add stress to your masseter muscles to make your jawline look sharper. And again, I can't even judge that because there are lots of people who get masseters, Botox to make their jaw look slimmer. But it's just, I would never advise an underage person to do that. There's towel maxing, thumb pulling, where you put your thumbs on the roof of your mouth every single day, a few times a day, and you pull because you're trying to pull out the upper palate, because the last thing you want, the last thing a looks maxer wants is your lower face to be recessed like a mouth breather, they say. So when you're not trying to rearrange your face, you're also gym maxing so you can rearrange your body. And a very important message if you're gym maxing is you must post photos of yourself gym maxing, which results in the looks maxing community to just be filled with guys posting thirst traps, shirtless thirst traps, flexing their neck muscles, sucking in their cheeks. They love sucking in their cheeks to get like a defined jawline. Yeah. Like they're sucking on a straw or something else so hard that their cheeks are like starting to cave in. Yeah, just muscle memory sucking motion.
Looks kind of weird, no? I think those photos. So weird.
So bizarre.
Yeah.
And then it's just a bunch of guys commenting on those thirst traps, talking about how Chad, the original poster, is, how good they look. It's almost by definition. I don't think we could get closer definitionally to a circle jerk filled with a bunch of guys. And you rarely ever see girls in that circle jerk. Except when the looks maxer wannabes are talking about how the girls are going to love how Chad someone is. Look, I don't know. Can I just say, if you're young and you're insecure about the way you look, looks maxing is probably not the right way to go. Or at least the way it looks right now. Aside from a few, most of the looks maxers have this very uncanny valley look to them where they just look like wannabe cosplayers who escape from Comic-Con, which, side note, I think cosplayers are typically very hot, but the looks maxers are so stiff. Like, the cosplayers are cool and they're fun and they're just like the way they express themselves artistically is so attractive to see, right? But then looks maxers, they walk weird and they're always posing and sucking in that you just feel very uncomfortable watching them because they look so conscious about how they look. And then you start feeling their insecurities and you just want to leave because you feel uncomfortable. It's just weird. One looks maxer says, it does not just stop at looks though, okay? Status, fame, aura, connections are a huge part of the looks maxing journey. And maybe just as important, equally as important, is something they call banana maxing. Yeah. You never thought we'd get here, right? Banana maxing is making your banana the best in the market of your pants. One looks maxer gives the advice, weight loss can help reduce the fat pad under there, which can make your banana look a whole lot better. And there are vacuum tools out there, devices that you can use to temporary gain.
They use the word banana?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's also this, like, so they use pumps. It's like a vacuum.
Right.
I always thought those were like for activities. I always thought people were getting those like because they're into certain scenes, right? But turns out looks maxers are a huge market. I don't know where they're hiding it, but they just whip them out during live stream. I think Clavicular has like a whole collection of them.
way.
Yeah. They're giving advice. They're doing YouTube videos. Then there's the suspender bungee rope contraption you can wear. If I'm not mistaken, you attach something to your knee or somewhere down there. And then the other part is attached to your banana. And it's like a bungee cord down to your knee. So it's like trying to pull gravity down on your banana. And you're supposed to wear it all day under your pants. Just uncomfortable, absolutely. Okay, unbearable pain, fingers crossed it's not. Does it work? Some claim after a year of wearing this torture device every single day, they have noticed about an inch of difference in a single year. So I imagine it's very sore. I don't even know if you could use it, but what do I know? And again, I think it's weird because, and I'm not making fun of it, I also have I had insecurities about intimate parts of my body, and it's not like me shaming people for having those thoughts. I just think it's weird because I've never met a girl who cared about stuff like that. So it just feels a little misled, it feels a little misguided, and it feels very dangerous, if I might say, because Clavicular himself has stated that he struggles heavily with erectile dysfunction from all of the substances and treatments that he's done, and I'm sure banana maxing was not helpful. But they rank it as important as shoe lifts, which they say the height gained from shoe lifts is not the most substantial. The insole is rather squishy, so the added height is actually not as much as it claims to be. So it's better to actually just wear a shoe that is naturally taller. And if all else fails, in the wise words of Clavicular, you can always wear long pants and tiptoe max. Which is like what I do when I wear long pants and I have to go into a public restroom. He's just tiptoe maxing, okay? All of this is also as equally important as wearing colored contacts, which one looks maxer describes as colored contacts can actually save a bad eye area. Never heard of a bad eye area, but apparently having brown eyes, you might as well get ready to live a life of pain and suffering. Some people are even getting eye color surgery, which is laser maxing straight to your retina so you can blue max, is what they say.
Really?
It just like takes all the pigment out of your eye, and it is widely known to be dangerous and not worth it at all. I don't know what looks maxers have against a simple brown eye, but it's like the bane of their existence. Side note, a lot of these guys, not all looks maxers, but a lot of them think that men and women are not equal. They are rather complementary, meaning, men are supposed to be in charge and women are supposed to listen, right? But are we supposed to listen to someone who's petrified of staring into the depths of his own brown eyes? I don't know if I would put my life in those people's hands. If you have brown eyes, you're cooked. That's what they say. Clavicular said, if you can get the procedure, he says, you could probably slay tons of hot chicks while ascending and living in Mog City. I'll do this eventually in my life.
Do what?
Laser surgery for eye color change.
Oh, he has brown eyes?
I think they're like light brown.
He doesn't like it. I see.
There's also height surgery. There's a whole caste system ranking for colors of eyes. If you have dark, almost black, brown eyes, you are, quote, untouchable sanitation workers, street sweepers. If they're dark brown, you're a manual laborer, peasant, street merchant. It goes all the way up in order of hazel, green, dark blue to the very lightest blue color, which they state as, quote, men destined to define eras and change history who will be remembered for millennia to come. It's a goofy chart. If you have green eyes, that means you're an officer, an official, or a diplomat. If you have dark blue eyes, you're an influential artist, writer, and general. Where are we getting any of this information? I feel like the peptide maxing has melted everybody's brains. What is peptide maxing? I can't even tell you, but I know everyone's doing it. Wall Street is no longer full of cokeheads. They're all peptide maxing, apparently. I almost got sold on peptide maxing. Someone was like, you can live a very long time for longevity and health. And then I realized we're not in the good place. We're in the bad place. Why extend the stay? Okay, I really still don't to this day know what peptide maxing is, but everyone's on peptides. It's a thing. Eyeball maxing, same as shoulder maxing, height maxing. Oh, height maxing is a really big thing. People are even undergoing surgeries to height max where they like put a lever, they break your bone, they put a metal lever, and then you have to like crank it every day for 6 months. Oof. And you just like grow a tiny bit every day.
Does it work?
I don't know, but it takes years to learn how to walk properly again. And some people, even after 3-4 years after height maxing surgery, they get excited at jogging. And like, it's just kind of sad because, there are lots of people who would die to have functioning legs or functioning eyes, regardless of the eye color. It's just kind of depressing, but You can also shoulder max, wear shoulder pads. They do recommend only whipping those bad boys out during winter months though, because the layers help hide them, right? I did see one clip of Clavicular just like throwing on sticky boob under his t-shirt to make his shoulder more shoulder maxing. Yeah. And I never want to hear a looks maxer make the very unfunny joke of taking a girl swimming on the first date to see her without makeup, because yeah, you've got 2 floaties strapped to your arms. I'll be drowning without makeup on and you'll be like a little airhead just bobbing around with your shoulder pads keeping you afloat. Also, you've got 4 eyeballs. Your colored contacts are rolling around in your eyes now because the chlorine. We're all humbled by chlorinated water. It's just weird. A new sadistic killer known as the Trawler has begun targeting the untouchable elites of LA. These are the signs that the Trawler has found his next victim. Their family dog or cat goes missing. They come home to an empty house. Fido, your dog, has disappeared. The couch was shifted like 2 inches from the spot that it's been in for years. They walk into the bathroom and see their personal toiletries all in order in their normal places, just flipped upside down. In another room is a family aquarium, drained, and their pet fish are either dying or gone, completely vanished from the aquarium. And then the phone rings and the target picks up the receiver and freezes because all they hear on the other line is heavy breathing. Before they can tell anyone about their suspicions, the victim has already been kidnapped, thrown into a van. They do reunite with their pet fish. It's just only in death, and not in the way that you think. This is the premise of the new show FX's The Shards, today's sponsor of this episode. Brett is a rising senior at an elite prep school with LA's richest kids in the 80s. Like, preppy doesn't even begin to describe them. Brett and his friends drive their parents' convertible sports cars around Beverly Hills. They skip class to smoke cigarettes and indulge in every impulse like the world is about to end. And for some of them, it did. In our own main character's words, quote, "All the legends were on hunting sprees. A violent cult is conducting brutal home invasions. A notorious lover's lane killer is terrorizing young couples. A night stalker is marking his victims in blood. But a new sadistic killer known as the Trawler has begun targeting the untouchable elites of LA. When the first body is found, the brutality, the perversion is startling. It completely shatters the illusion of LA in the 80s. And before anyone can even breathe, senior year starts and there's a new kid in town. Tall, dark, handsome, figuratively and literally. He wears leather pants and aviators, slicked back greaser hair with dimples that make him irresistible. He drives a drop-top Porsche and his past is alluring. He's very smooth, too smooth, and he has no trouble making new friends, which ultimately is good. I mean, it's obvious his transfer to our main character's high school is more than poorly timed. Suspicious even, right? As the Trawler takes his next victim, a student in Brett's class goes missing. We learn our main character knows the victim in intimate ways his best friends don't. Only the new kid seems to catch on to the boy's secret. Will the new kid uncover more, or is he hiding his own? Executive producer Ryan Murphy's new thriller drama series, The Shards, starring Igby Rigney, Kaya Gerber, and Homer Gear, FX's The Shards, premieres August 5th on FX and Hulu. One could make the very good argument that looks maxing is just hotter incels that sometimes get laid, but ultimately, like, how harmful is looks maxing? I think if looks maxing kept to themselves in this bubble where they all just are men rating men's looks, maybe it's okay, but it just, it gets unhealthy. If they just stuck to self-care grooming, maybe wearing makeup, which, side note, looks maxers will do videos like how-to guides. They call it fraud maxing, where they show you how to use eyebrow pencils to get chiseled jawlines, basically contour their face. It's like a repackaged makeup tutorial. They're just doing get ready with me's, but they never call it that because they want to call it fraud maxing because that sounds, I think, more masculine. But is that really harmful at the end of the day? One person writes on a looks maxing forum, "Hello everyone, I'm a 14-year-old subhuman. I'm 5'7" and 119 pounds and I'm ugly as fuck. I've lost 20 pounds in a month during an extreme cut, but I don't think I'm close at all to even looking okay. Please help me, I want to get better looking. Please give me tips." The height to weight ratio with more cutting, probably unhealthy, I'm not sure, but one comment, instead of pointing that out or encouraging them because they're 14 and calling themselves subhuman because of this random little scale online, they just comment back, get a haircut to cover your forehead, G. Which is actually pretty tame, because there's other people commenting things like, nothing you can fix with soft maxing, bro. Meaning, like, you gotta get surgery.
What?
Soft maxing is just grooming and eating healthy, Accutane, but hard maxing is surgery, jaw surgery, eye surgery. You know, other people will post 19, here's a picture of me, how can I improve? And someone will comment, you got a really frail, weak looking body. Someone else comments, you look submissive as fuck, take roids and get a genio-like looks or you're cooked. Genio is shorthand for a sliding genioplasty, which is where the chin bone is cut and they slide your chin forward and reposition it. It's to fix, I mean, there's real medical reasons why you would need this, but for aesthetically speaking, it's to fix what people believe is, quote, a weak chin and to create a projected and defined jawline. Some people advocate for it on looks maxing forums, saying it's not as painful as people make it out to be, but also you can't chew soft food for like 3 to 4 weeks after the operation. Some people say it took them closer to 2 months to chew mashed potatoes, so it does seem like a very big trade-off. Other people are saying go to an ortho. Not gonna lie, I would beat the shit out of you. I don't know what, it's just like a picture of them and they're asking for advice. But when surgeries are tens of thousands of dollars to get it done safely, like how else can you fix the problem that is the face that we are born with, right? There are lots of predatory looks maxers out there that charge their fans courses, reminiscent of the pickup artist courses, Bitcoin crypto courses, finance courses, stock trading courses. They teach courses on how to mog, how to be hot. For $10 to $15 a month, you can be a mogul and pay for Mogwarts, the School for Looks Maxing. Who on earth would pay for such a program? 2,000 people. 2,000 people. Now, to the credit of Mogwarts, they do market themselves as a hate-free space for young men. So I would hope and imagine that they're not out here brutally ripping people apart for having facial asymmetry, but I don't know. What does admissions into the very legitimate school of Mogwarts looks like? There's going to be classes every week from influencers who cosplay as professors who will teach you to mog better, Q&As with professional moggers, aka famous looks maxers, PowerPoint presentations, and guides on how to be the ultimate mogger, and guides on how to get a razor-sharp jawline that you can use to cut open the next admissions letter you get from your mogul friends. The founder of Mogwarts states, it's completely delusional to think that young men are going to go on social media, see these high-value, attractive people with money and all these sorts of things and not get insecure. It is innate. It's going to happen, so I'd rather be the one influencer who, instead of making people feel like this sort of insecureness, instead I'll guide them towards the sort of thing that they can change by charging them. But this is also the same guy that gives very spectacular dating advice, where he has said, if you're dating a girl who has told you that she has a celebrity crush, it's over. Quote, she's disrespected you by mentioning the celebrity in front of you. If a girl truly likes you, she won't even think about any other guy. Drop her. She's immature. And I have a sneaking suspicion that a lot of these looks maxers, all their ex-girlfriends' celebrity crushes were Michael B. Jordan, because I feel like that's the only reason that they're shitting on Michael B. Jordan all the time. For no reason. Just shots fired at Michael B. Jordan.
It's a common thing?
Yeah. I'm like, hello? I've never taken a course at Mogwarts, so I'm not sure how much, if at all, predatory the course can be. But there are looks maxers out here just encouraging people to do at-home injections of Aqualix, which is a fat-dissolving injection. They want you to do it straight to the face. It is not FDA approved in the US. Not that the FDA has been doing much recently, but in the UK, you could potentially get a prescription for it, but this is, hardly the only substance or injection looks maxers talk about doing to their very impressionable, sometimes very desperate audience who just want to fit in. There's also steroid maxing, testosterone maxing. They have this other weird like pre-gab. They encourage taking benzodiazepines or different forms of that so that you can be not so nervous when you talk to members of the opposite girls. When you talk to girls. Yeah. Also, if it were just a bubble where guys are just trying to look hotter and not go through just these really extreme measures, it's probably still not great. But again, these forums have so much hatred against women. They write things like on the forums, land whales. and deformed girls will still have access to 100 times more intimate relations than any average-looking men. The bane of their existence is what they call hypergamy. Well, it's like a real concept, but I don't know if it's proven to be at all, other than one random generic study that isn't even well done. But it's this concept, this ideology that they have that women, 80% of women, date the top 20% of men, and they don't care to date the other bottom 80%.
Okay.
So it's basically saying all women always date above their look and socioeconomic status, which I do think that there's a lot more studies recently that show that is not the case. In fact, the opposite is true, where I believe, at least in the US, more often than not, women will marry men who are less educated than them on paper. So I don't really know where they're getting this from, but they write, land whales and deformed girls will still have access to 100 times more intimate relations than any average-looking man, as men have become literal low self-esteem social roaches ready to do anything for some fat, pre-owned, stinky-smelling pee. The only thing that will determine how long your very good-looking chick is going to stay with you is the amount of money you have or how good your bedroom game is. That is the ultimate straight relationship black pill. It continues to say that you need to practice being the last one in the race. In fact, don't even finish the race, okay? So he's like trying to teach you how to be manipulative. So he's like, you need to learn not to arrive at the destination during intimate relations. And he says this is so serious because that's how he operates. And he gets a lot of girls insecure and desperate for him because the first time you meet a girl and have intimate relations, she should be exhausted. And if you don't finish the race, it will, quote, psychologically trick her into thinking she's not good enough for you. And then he says, right after that, you want to stop texting her, be cold to her so that she feels like something's wrong with her. And he says, quote, by doing that, she'll literally be on a leash and come begging me to fuck her, and in addition, she'll try her best to make me finish the race. You know what finish the race is. What? He also writes, we've all seen a really hot girl go out and marry an average or deformed guy that isn't rich or famous. So like, you know, this is the one time where the wall has been broken. He's like, a hot girl marries a guy not hot and not rich. What does that mean? Oh my God, could it be that girls just really care about personality as well? No. The only explanation is that he successfully kept her thanks to his intimate game, his sex game, his banana game. That's what he says, you know? Like, what's happening? When you take your partner in crime, you need to, this is his,
Who is this?
some random dude on a Looksmaxer forum, and this is like one of the top posts that everyone's obsessed with. He said it's the ultimate guide. And so he said, this is how you know if you have a good friend down there. You need to get it and slam it against a desk. It needs to sound like a fucking hammer. It needs to be metal solid, zero flexibility. Anyway, in order to not finish the race, you need to do math in your head. Double the numbers, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. Or if it gets really bad, think about your dead grandma. They call that mental maxing. Your mental maxing has to be strong. I swear a lot of these rules and maxing guides are just written by a bunch of phonies. They say the only way to have a good intimate session is if she's begging you to stop, pushing you away, crying, screaming, the neighbors or the police come because she sounds like she's getting butchered, and your condom breaks multiple times. Somebody call the cops and sue Trojan, because what's happening? How is that an indicator of a good time? That sounds like a crime. This is like more unrealistic. This is as realistic as my spicy romantasy books, where one of them is like a shadow daddy shapeshifter vampire werewolf who knots. Like what even is this post? But then you have a bunch of guys commenting on the thread. Holy shit. Good post. Good post. Need to find a foid to fuck first. Side note, foid is incel shorthand for female humanoid. It's how incels refer to women. It's derogatory, it's dehumanizing, and very quickly indicates that they've never touched a woman before, but who am I to stop them from telling on themselves? One person comments, all this work just to have some fat, ugly whore commit to you? And again, I mean, maybe if there's just hookup culture where everyone's just trying to be hotter so that they can have the most amount of one-night stands possible, I don't think there's anything wrong between consenting adults doing that. But it's also the fact that, like, a lot of the Looksmaxers agree with the manosphere sentiment that body count is one of the most important things for a girl's value. Yeah. One manosphere of turd says, I would like to have my partner be less experienced and more loyal so that her sexual compatibility is malleable to mine. We get to mold our sexual partners to our liking and vice versa, like we're some sort of Tamagotchi. I think that's a lot more possible when the partners haven't had stacked body counts to the sky. They also think that 3 body count is high, like atrociously high. They think even 1, if it's not the one you're married to, is like atrociously high. There was actually a whole debate about it. Yeah, there was a whole debate on everywhere, but there was one Jubilee debate where Mark Manson, the self-help guru, was like, what's the difference between having one person that you've had intimate relations with like 1,000 times versus multiple partners that you've had multiple relationships with? It's just weird, but they don't get it. Yeah. Also, this guy who said that he wants a woman to be malleable to his sexual preferences, not to enforce their idea of looks maxing. He is not easy on the eyes. It's just kind of strange, okay? It's just a lot of demands, and it's just weird. And they also say things like, this is clavicular, okay? Clavicular said, quote, no woman has a political ideology that she's going to stand by, right? Because they have no backbone. They have no spine with any of their opinions.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Which, speaking of clavicular, he has a looks maxing course that has over 1,000 members and costs $50 a month, which is a lot of money. Yeah. He also makes about $80,000 to $100,000 a month from streaming. And as I'm filming this, I decided to go check up on him on TikTok, and he's starting his college tours. I don't know what that means. I think he's going to go to college campuses and just like make an incel army. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, and in that promotion for the college course, he's like making out with this girl, and then her husband walks in, and it's like, haha.
This is real?
I mean, I guess it's a bit, but
I see.
But like for that to go around in college is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's very weird. Like I don't know what
is
the message.
His lore? What does he do exactly?
Okay,
Are you gonna talk
clavicular.
about him
Yes,
later?
no. I'm right now. Okay, clavicular is a very interesting individual that I came across as of more recently, and the stuff that was showing up on my TikTok algorithm about clavicular, the girlies were getting into clavicular, including me. I was like, oh wait, this one clip I saw of him was actually kind of enduring. I don't know anything about clavicular, and then I started the research for this case, and I was like, oh, I take back any sentiment I had of that because it's bad. So the first thing that I found out about him, other than like he had this collab with Woah Vicky, we're going to talk about it in a second, but was that he spends just like a lot of money on peptides and drugs and enhancements every single month. I don't even know if he's breaking even at this point with how much he's making. He said that he approximately spends like $50,000 to $80,000 a year on peptides. Yeah.
What exactly is the difference between peptides and drugs?
Peptides is a amino acid that's like created by protein. I don't know. I think GLP-1s are peptides. I think peptides help with lots of medical issues that people actually need, but then now people are peptide maxing. It's kind of giving a more extreme version of sauna and cold plunge. So there's a lot of overlaps with clavicular because he is the most presentable mainstream face for looks maxing. And if you go down one of the alleyways, you're going to get a very different side of clavicular because of your algorithm. So for example, I would say that my algorithm is not, but would be more in favor of like Woah Vicky. So like all the Woah Vicky stuff came out because the live stream was going viral. And then I started getting pushed his longevity overlap. So like doctors are interviewing him, but he's not a longevity guy, but like maybe that. And then you actually get like the red pill overlap where he's just shitting on women. So there's just like lots of weird. And then you have the lol cow overlap, which is just him saying dumb stuff to get viral. But he has a huge digital footprint that he has tried to erase a good chunk of it. But he growing up was self-identified. I don't know if he was diagnosed. He says that he grew up with that he has autism, that he's awkward. He had all of these. He was actually very active on these forums, these lookism forums. Yeah, he said that he would try to say as little words as possible on a daily basis. He would wake up early so that he didn't have to run into people, including his parents, before he went to school. I think beginning clavicular was more relatable. He talks about how it's hard to talk to anybody without being on some sort of benzodiazepine. He just seems like a really uncomfortable guy who faced some rejection that maybe because he's not neurotypical, does not interpret social cues that well, and that has caused tension in his life and feels a lot of social anxiety. And that is something that I think a lot of people can relate to. He says that he started working as a bouncer at a club after high school, and he said, quote, "I was noticing who was going home with the pretty girls every night, and I noticed it was really only about 1 to 2% of men. So it was people who were very tall, people who are very good looking, something I was noticing over my formative years when I was a teenager growing up." So making these observations, kind of seeing that sometimes good looking people would be able to go up to women and start making out with them without saying anything, I kind of started to shift my worldview a little bit and realize this is the most important metric and I have to go all in. And he says that he purchased testosterone online when he was 14, so like illegal testosterone, and he's been taking testosterone since. He also talks about like testosterone is like a huge thing. This is where I would say like the wellness, longevity, manosphere slightly overlap and like all of that. But 14 is crazy, and he wasn't getting it from a doctor. He also does, the one thing about clavicular that I will give him is he does talk about all the downsides. So he just straight up tells everyone he cannot have kids because his body does not create testosterone on his own. He can't have kids. He says that he can do some sort of therapy later if he decides to stop taking testosterone and have kids. I don't know how accurate that is, but I will give it to him. He is very open about all the consequences of the things that he does. So he's not trying to make it seem like it's a walk in the park. He's known for a lot of other things, one of them being that his mom had to take away his hammer when he was a teenager because he kept doing what it's referred now in the large scheme of things as bone smashing, which is where you repeatedly tap your face with a hammer to change your face shape because you're creating all these like micro fractures.
Is it true? Like, is it like a real thing, safe thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
So every doctor has come out and been like, you're just like, you could paralyze your face. You could also hit a nerve. You're also likely not going to get symmetrical results. So you're just like swollen and red and inflaming your face and probably doing more harm than good. But he said that he would bone smash ever since he was a teenager. And then now when you look pictures of him, he's like 20, he looks 30, but I mean, he looks chiseled, but everyone's like, how much of that is just his genetics? There's a clip of him even using a massage gun to his face, jamming it in his face, which again, you really should not do a massage gun for sure. He's also said things about Sydney Sweeney, okay? And like, not a lot of people are Sydney Sweeney fans. However, he says, I think she's pretty malformed. Her upper maxilla is extremely recessed. She's got the eyes of doom with no infraorbital support. She's really not that much of a looker in her face. I think that a lot of people with brains find her attractive because of her body.
Some people think that like Sydney Sweeney is extremely attractive. I would say that she's pretty malformed. She's really not that much of a looker in her face. I think that a lot of people with brains find her attractive because of her body.
In other podcasts, there are, like, he'll go on the Fresh and Fit podcast where he's sitting across from other women and he's just like rating their looks, or rather listing out a bunch of random things that he thinks are wrong about their face, stating her mid-face is way too long. Obviously, she's got the jowls coming in, horrible nasolabial folds, horrible total facial with the height ratio, just really bad age indicators. But obviously at 30, that's not something that's really going to surprise me. Her inner maxilla is super recessed, horrible, and it's like, you know, her eyes are sunken in.
3 out of 10, maybe 2.5.
Her mid-face is way too long. Obviously, she's got the jowls coming in.
Then the next person, he's like really recessed chin. He's just doing, like... He's just doing a lot. And like, what do you expect from the guy? He used to apparently make anonymous Instagram accounts when he was in high school and college and take creepy candid photos of girls in his class in town, post them on Instagram, and brutally rate their looks in the caption. And I think the part that really annoys me is, like, in the forums, it's definitely a lot of self-hatred that is transferred to other guys in the looks maxing community and ultimately to women. But when you see these famous looks maxers and they're rating people online, for example, that's what he said about Sydney Sweeney, but fine, she's a public figure, whatever. But then you'll have him rate random girls at a club and just be so rude, so degrading, and like, nobody asked you, like, why are you doing this? And it's like getting off on the girls being humiliated. And then he'll see another famous live streamer, you know, that is not conventionally attractive, and he'll be so soft and gentle with how he rates the guy's looks. It's just very like circle jerk. Yeah, he calls lots of women troglodytes, which I guess stands for like a cave dweller, basically a feral human in the essence of what he's trying to say. He also even admits, he self-admits, you know, I was always a peak hater. I was like incel. However, I guess if there's anything to get behind clavicular on is when he rips into politicians, but like the way he does it is also bizarre. He says, I mean, this next election cycle, who's going to win? It's going to be Gavin Newsom against JD Vance, and because JD Vance is subhuman and Gavin Newsom mogs, he's going to win.
JD Vance is subhuman and Gavin Newsom mogs.
The person interviewing him asks him, JD Vance is subhuman? Like, what makes you say that? And also, the person interviewing him is like a super alt-right podcaster. So they're all like trying to get him into the alt-right line, okay? And then he's like, he's got a very short total, you know, facial width to height ratio. He's obese, very recessed side profile, whereas Newsom is like a 6'3" Chad.
JD Vance is subhuman?
He's got a very short total facial width to height ratio. He's obese, very recessed side profile, whereas Newsom is like 6'3" Chad.
He also states that he disagrees with Newsom's politics, so he's like very MAGA, but he is going to vote for Democrat Newsom because he mogs.
What is this world?
Yeah, like I can't tell.
Wow.
I really cannot decide if this is funny or if this is like catastrophic foreshadowing for the future of humanity in our country, where we're just voting for like the hottest moggers.
Wow. I mean, he's on brand, I guess.
Yeah. He's saying that sarcastically, by the way. But he also says it's just embarrassing for the president of the country to be fat. He says, how are you fat and you expect to lead a country? You can't even be in shape.
How are you fat and you expect to like lead a country? You can't even be in shape.
But he's also very seemingly supportive of the Trump administration, which is not, I don't know if any of these people are like symbolic of health and fitness, but I mean, they're all old as well, but I don't know. He also says in stream, my grandma texted me today and she was like, stop making fun of JD Vance. And I was like, oh my God, bro, I'm not going to do that. He's fat and he's ugly. No, thank you, grandma. And for someone who is so heavily on the right, he says some weird things. He has this one video that has gone semi-viral in, I mean, I didn't see it up until the research of this video, so I guess in very specific circulating groups, but he says, would Charlie Kirk have gotten assassinated if he were a Chad? Probably not. Here's why. Good-looking people experience something called the halo effect, so it's quite possible that if Charlie were to be better looking, someone wouldn't have hated him enough to assassinate him. So I don't really know. He's like, he hangs out a lot with the alt-right people, like Nick Fuentes. Really likes Nick Fuentes. He said he would vote for Nick Fuentes if he runs for president. So he is very aligned with the alt-right pipeline and the manosphere. However, it's confusing because he's also like shitting on them at the same time. So it doesn't make any sense. It's just weird. I think he just goes for whatever is lucrative. That's why it makes zero sense. He's also said things like, I hate politics. So whoever wants to give me the fattest bag, let's be real. And he said, I'll go each and every way, brother.
What do all the Look Maxers like forums or people think about him since he's like the poster child now? Do they approve of him? Do they think he's the Giga Chad? Or is that the energy or?
Yeah, I think they all like him, except I don't know if they think he's a Giga Chad. There's some more smaller, we're going to talk about him next. Mason Hull, otherwise known as Hulo, the one from the beginning of this story. I think a lot of people think he's more representative of an aesthetic Chad.
Oh.
Yeah, from what I could see. What do you expect from clavicular, clavicle, clav? I just don't know how much his brain can handle after he's loaded up with every substance under the sun. It seems he also like live streamed his friend putting him in a chokehold. And then when he was released from the chokehold, he went limp and started convulsing on the ground. He also seemingly overdosed during a live stream. He was slurring his speech on live. There's videos of him being carried out of the bar and taken to a hospital. And when I say carried, it's not just like a security guy supporting his weight. He's fully being carried by two dudes down the stairs. I don't know if Clavicular popularized bone smashing, but he apparently partook in it. So he shows himself a lot using trophies and hammers, just hitting his face, which, you know, there's also pictures that he shows where his entire face is so swollen he can barely open his eyes. And he says that he would show up to work like that every single time. Like, it just, his whole face looks like he's wearing Rare Beauty blush on the top of his cheekbones because he's been hammering it so hard. It's not even giving hunter eyes, it's giving pink eye. He said that he used to go into work every day looking like that because he would bone smash so hard. He's done an interview where he talks about everything that he takes on a daily basis, and I don't know how true any of this is or if he's doing it for shock value, but equally problematic, right? He says, I'm taking testosterone every single day. I take minoxidil for my hair. I take dutasteride for my hair. I take 7.5 milligrams of Accutane a day. I use crystal meth as a stimulant to lean max. It's much more mild than Adderall, actually, and I'm pretty much using meth for hollow cheeks.
Testosterone replacement.
Yes,
therapy.
yeah, okay.
I mean, I like cocaine. Well, meth might be cardiotoxic over the long term.
You do meth.
Yeah, I haven't done meth in 2 weeks, but I do meth, yeah.
Wait, he's just openly admitting what's going on.
Yeah.
What is going on?
He says models will do coke to get their appetite to go away, but meth just lasts a lot longer. He says, for 3 days, I spammed a combination of Adderall and methamphetamine for appetite suppression. I literally went on a 3-day fast and stayed awake the entire time. I lost 5 pounds. He's asked, did it feel good? And he says, of course, it's fucking meth. He's also taken like anabolic steroids, which is not even approved for human usage at this point. It's just for animals. It's called like trenbolone or something.
So there's a lot that can go wrong if you're not very careful with using anabolic steroids. For those reasons, with how complex it is, I don't openly advocate for anyone to do this, right?
And he talks about it. He also talks about how he takes Pregab and baclofen pills, which it's supposed to mimic the feeling of being drunk. But you cannot take them long term because you probably potentially are going to get Parkinson's, especially if you don't need these drugs, which he does not need them. And in another clip too, I don't know how many viewers that take his words like the gospel, he says, you should be on your computer for hours, researching, creating yourself a regimen. I mean, how can I ascend? What can I do? Not worried about what kind of side effects could I get from this? What could go wrong? How about what could go right? Side note, ascend is just another masculine repackaging for the concept of glowing up. And Clavicular is nothing if not committed to his ascension. He says for him, he was ordering illegal testosterone. He would get it into a P.O. box. And he says, I'm just someone who is willing to do whatever needs to be done. So I would just reorder it to a P.O. box instead. A lot of people will come after my parents for the things that I did. But realistically, no one was stopping me. I was committed to my goal.
But I'm just someone who, you know, is willing to do whatever needs to be done. So I would just reorder it to a P.O. box instead. Like, you know, a lot of people will come after my parents for the things that I did, but realistically, no one was stopping me. I was committed to my goal, and I wasn't going to let anyone get away.
He even gets kicked out of college for roid maxing. So he would brag about how he's roid maxing on these forums, and someone called his college, they raided his dorm room, found a bunch of steroids.
Steroids in my dorm room, and I got kicked out. I only lasted 3 weeks.
Oh, that's literally how he got kicked out of school?
And then started his influencer career. And why not just work out and not use steroids? He says, natty gains are slow and gay. Natty means natural in the world of, I don't know what world that is, okay? But he says, I am the pioneer of mainstream plastic surgery for men's aesthetics. He thinks the future is, quote, every motherfucker will have some sort of titanium implant in their face. Rhinoplasties are being handed out like it's fucking food stamps. He says you can actually get college loans and use it for surgery. So this is a method. So I've been telling people you can literally do that. So just misappropriating the funds, it's really not going to get you in that much trouble, and you'll mog, so you'll be able to sort of get out of it.
This is crazy.
And for someone who spends so much time and energy into mogging, he just like continuously goes viral for getting out-mogged by random people. He was interviewed by 60 Minutes where he's just mogged by the reporter. He goes to meet an ASU frat leader, which that was like a fake narrative. Apparently he's not a frat leader. Apparently he is a bodybuilder, but he gets brutally frame mogged, like he does get mogged. And then later, the judge presiding over one of his cases, because he was arrested a few times, I'm gonna get into that, but the judge mogs the shit out of him. Holy cow. Okay, like mogs him really hard. And he's just going around getting mogged.
So how does he take that when he gets out-mogged?
He's actually like, the one thing about Clavicular, I will say, is he's like very open to being embarrassed.
Oh.
He's just like, I got out-mogged.
Okay. Does
He's just like-
does that motivate him to smash his face more? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I guess that's the part where maybe he gets a lot of attention and fame because he's not like weird about it. Because you would imagine a lot of guys would be like, I didn't get mugged. But he's just like, yeah, why the fuck did I get mugged?
Yeah.
So it's kind of,
So his like nose proportion is just 2% better than mine.
Yeah, probably pulling up Adobe Photoshop. The Looks Maxers love Adobe Photoshop. They love to get like the little measuring tool and then do the facial thirds. And the way they do it, like I'm watching their screen recordings, it's so smooth. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
oh my God, are you looking for
That
a
is
job?
crazy. Wow. So they're serious about this. This is not a bit.
No.
Wow.
This is a lifestyle.
Interesting.
Yeah. But he does sort of get a redemption arc, even though, I don't know, okay? He's also the one that said that we need to go back to the patriarchy times, as if we somehow escaped it, as if women are just like incapable of holding themselves to any moral code. That's what he said. He thinks we need to go back to a patriarchy and that Nick Fuentes should be president. He would vote for Nick Fuentes or Gavin Newsom if it's up between Gavin Newsom and JD Vance.
It's going to be Gavin Newsom against JD Vance because JD Vance is subhuman and Gavin Newsom not.
But he goes viral because this is basically the Clavicki era. Wojcicki and Clavicular have a live stream collab. And Wojcicki is an interesting person. I have not dived into the lore of Wojcicki, so please correct me if I'm wrong, excuse me if I have any misconceptions, but what I know about Wojcicki and Bad Baby are those two individuals seem like they grew up on the internet and have probably been through so much that people almost have like a soft spot for both of them, right? And Wojcicki, I don't know if she's been on, I don't know what's happened, but anyway, she was in a collaboration with him and she asks him if he has autism. And this is something that he talks about very openly, where he feels like even looks maxing is a hyperfixation of his autism. He talks about how growing up it was difficult for him, and it seems like he could feel a little sensitive to it about it. But Wojcicki is just like, oh, I don't even mean to be funny. Like, I love people with autism. They normally attract to me. Like, they attract, like my little brothers and sisters all have autism. And so he actually seems like he's into it and he's smiling a lot. She also points out that he must be real rich because his Rolex has diamonds in it and she's never seen a Rolex with diamonds in it. She asks if he knows anything about cortisol being recessed. She's like, cortisol are your stress levels, and then recessed, I think she's talking about like the chin going in. But he points out that she's just combining a bunch of random words that the looks maxing community have, and everyone just started shipping them because he actually seems to be really nice to her. Like this is how little he's nice to girls. And he seems like most of his live streams are him going to clubs in Miami and either flirting with girls and getting rejected or being mean to girls. And he's actually quite nice to her, at least in the viral clips. And he asks her, well, you think we'd have good kids together? And she's like, yeah, I think they'd be cute. And he said, probably from your side mostly.
Well, you don't think we'd have good kids together?
Yeah, I think that'd be cute.
And she's like, no, you look nice too. And he's like, you look better. I think you got me a little bit. So they're flirting a lot, and he even says, this is a viral clip where he says, God damn, Vicky, I wish I met you 5 years ago.
God damn, Vicky, I wish I met you 5 years ago.
So it almost made people feel like, oh, like then he wouldn't have gone down this very self-destructive looks maxing spiral and they would have ridden off into the sunset together. Yeah. At some point, she asks to pray for him because she's very religious now. And she asks him, is there anything Pacific? And he's very confused. She's like, in the Pacific? And she responds, yeah, like you want me to pray for you? And he's like, I don't really know any animals in the Pacific.
He's trying to be funny.
Yeah. No, I think he's for real.
Oh, okay.
So it's just like the mixture of like...
Yeah. I got it. Vibe. I get the vibe.
The neurodivergent and like the also neurodivergent, but like very different types of neurodivergent combining together. Yeah. And it was just very cute. They also set up a mini date because the initial stream went so well. And it did seem like they had some bit of history or chemistry. It was nice. People noticed that Wojcicki was the only girl that he was actively laughing around. He seemed very genuine. Like there are parts where Wovicki's on her phone during the date and he's like, it's not nice to be on your phone during the date. And she's like, oh, sorry. And then he asked her if there are times where she's without her phone. She responds, sometimes she actively lets her phone die. And there was a time she didn't have her phone for 2 days because it wasn't charged. And he's like, what did you do during those 2 days? And she mentions quite cutely, used other people's phones. So it's just like really cute, right? However, I do think it was for clout. So the very initial stream, this part did not go viral, but he actually kicked Wovicki out of his stream, the very first stream, because she was using some sort of product and he was accusing her of doing an undisclosed ad on his live stream. And she swore it was not an ad. And then he wanted her to swear her hand on the Bible. And she said she didn't want to because that made her uncomfortable, religiously speaking. And so he kicked her out of the live stream, like out of the house.
Okay.
But then those clips, the flirting clips from the initial live stream started going viral and people started shipping them. So then he asked her to come back to do like a little date live stream. So I don't know about Wovicki's intentions. She seems pretty genuine, but I think Clavicular was going where the clout was going.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, but also, like, what do you expect? Like, this is a random blip of rebranding and virality that he had. And this, like, the Wovicki clips actually pushed him to people like me, like, just people who didn't really know him. And I was like, oh, like, I've heard about him. I don't know any of the stuff that he said. I just know, like, looks maxing is a weird concept, but it was so cute. It almost wants you to, you want to support them.
Yeah.
But then you look into it. Okay. And he's also said these types of things during a live stream. Chat, I'm not gonna lie, my mom literally got fat after she had me.
Dude, chat, I'm not gonna lie, my mom literally like, it got like after she had me.
He also talks about girls like this. You think I want to know about your fucking hobbies?
Bitch, I want to get in your fucking pants, god damn it. I want to fuck you.
And I want to convince you that I'm not trying to fuck you, which is why I'm having the conversation. So how about you do me the courtesy of telling me where at least went wrong, okay? Just so I can know. He will just tell girls that their heads are full of cum. Your fucking skull is full of cum instead of brain. Yeah, he also likes to say that the best things to come out of self-driving cars, like Waymo, is my favorite usage of self-driving Ubers is to send stupid hoes off the fucking end of the Santa Monica Pier in a self-driving car. He says in another video, unless you're a Chad, you will never experience what it's like to have a girl look at you and be truly in love. I see so many people, they're making all this money, they got all these cars, but they've got a face that only a mother could love. I'm not telling you not to money max, but I'm telling you that until you maximize the looks along with it, you will never know what it's like. And that's a horrible reality to face. It's truly sad, and most people won't get it. They'll cope their way around it. Oh, look at all these girls, but no girl will ever be able to look at them and truly be in love. He's also cried on stream because he ordered a burger and there was cheese on there. And he's not cheese maxing. One of his team members was interviewed by GQ and they state, he just does butter bagel, no cream cheese. Do not hand him a fucking burger with cheese on it. He will fucking throw that shit at you. He goes onto websites like, you know those random chat websites where it links you with another person on a video call? A random stranger like Omegle or whatever those.
Yep.
And he just tells people how ugly they are. In one clip, he says a girl is gross for being overweight, but also because she spoke in, quote, Ebonics. He also says that there's another guy who outmogs him, but, quote, but he's black. He's also said the N-word before, repeatedly, I think, on stream. He's also just like promoting bottom of the barrel care when it comes to sexual health. He says, dude, it's been burning to piss. It only means one thing. Usually it goes away on its own after a while, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of who even could have given it to me. You know, chat, put predictions in the chat on who gave me this fucking fired up peen. And he says that he's not gonna get an STD test because he can't live stream it, so what's the point? In another stream, he takes a woman back into his room. So his friend, it's him and his friend and two women show up. They're live streaming in the living room of Clavicular's house, or at least it looks like it. And Clavicular takes one of the girls into his bedroom. After they do whatever they do in the bedroom, which I would imagine that they're both, you know, consenting adults at this point. There's nothing wrong with it. However, it's wrong that afterwards she's off camera in the live stream room. He's sitting in front of his little computer chair live streaming and he's shaming her in front of his chat, calling her a dumpster for giving up her butt. Those are his words. In like 5 minutes of meeting him.
You gave up your butt in like 5 minutes of eating. Yeah. I thought of a nickname for you. cum dumpster.
Then he asks her to sit in frame on camera so he can probably humiliate her more, and she refuses, and he says,
Listen up, ho. You gotta learn how to listen. Women not listening is like, makes me want to fucking kill myself.
just sit in the fucking chair and stop being a bitch. If you don't sit there, you can get out. Then he tells her
That is insane.
that she's basically an escort for how quickly they had intimate relations, which like same could be said about you, but whatever. And he tells her, I liked it, okay, you're a fun time, let's do it again. She rejects, and the chat is donating money so that they can have their comment read out audibly. And like, tell me what's the difference between this and incels. And they have the audible comment read,
Walk of shame just tipped $2. She's regretting being a little hoe. Now she has to do the walk of shame out of the room.
She rejects wanting to have anything to do with Clav anymore after this, and she says it just wasn't that good. To which he bluntly responds,
I'm on pre-gab, so I can't get hard.
and it's like, not only is it very misogynistic and inappropriate, I will say there's like a huge layer of just depression around it. Like just watching it, it's like so, wow, you did all of that so you could sleep with women, and then why are you being so mean? And then you look so miserable throughout the whole process, and then you're pushing it onto your live chat audience to do the same thing. Like, what a meaningless life. He also says that every woman is pretty much a hoe. He says, I'm telling you, once a girl is not a virgin, her value is nothing. One body is a hoe. He also says things like, I don't really like a woman who tries to be super educated either and try to have these intelligent conversations, because a lot of the times you could, and this is talked about by Socrates a lot.
Like, a woman could be very well educated, but that doesn't make them a good thinker. So they just might have a lot of these like facts in their brain, maybe from books they've read. They don't necessarily know how to interpret them properly. They won't make the right conclusions. So I just don't want a wife who's like wanting to argue about like, you know, politics and like that all the time.
He also ran someone over with his car. Okay, it wasn't just a random pedestrian, I will say that. It is a guy that is known to be kind of a professional streamer follower. Some people call him a stalker. I don't know if I should call him that, but he shows up in a lot of live streams where he just like harasses streamers during their live. And he finds them somehow, or maybe by coincidence runs into them in public spaces. He did hop onto the hood of Clavicular's Cybertruck and was like laying there like a gremlin, like foaming at the mouth. And Clavicular just started driving and ran over him. And Clavicular is also live streaming, and he asks the girl holding the phone in the passenger seat, is he dead?
Is he dead?
I don't know.
Hopefully.
And then he says, hopefully. And then right after that, he posted an AI-generated picture on X of him running the guy over, and he captions it, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I will say, like, maybe the guy is not the most sympathetic victim. He's alive. He did not die. But ultimately, the guy decides not to press charges, which means Clavicular is free to say whatever he wants about it. Because later at a club, people are like, some girl is like, why are you so famous? Who are you? And he says, it's because I ran a guy over with my car. Well, there was another incident that resulted in a charge. He was collabing with another live streamer, Jenny Popatch. I think she is also, I don't know. I did some light digging, and there are some, I don't know if they're controversial, but like controversies with her apparently. I don't know. But she's live streaming with Clav. Clav has a girlfriend, and apparently
He has a girlfriend?
yeah, I don't know if they're still together, but Jenny has come out to say that she felt like she was set up because Clav would like flirt with her, and she thought it was for the bit.
I realized that I was set up by Clav and his girlfriend.
So she would kind of flirt back because, you know, they're all like content creators or whatever. And then eventually she goes to the house where Clav's girlfriend is, and Clav is holding Jenny's arms back while the girlfriend is just like beating on Jenny. And there's a live stream clip of it. Yeah.
Like actually beating?
Yeah.
What is going on?
And then he shot an alligator in a marsh in the Florida Everglades. He shot at a drone. There are also new allegations against him from his ex-girlfriend, who stated that she accuses him of essaying her when she was 16, and this clip has circulated online, not of the essay but the next allegation that she has, which is he injected her face with Aqualix, the fat dissolver, on camera. He was 19, she was 17, and he was not licensed to perform any such injection, which, by the way, that injection clip was so dangerous to even watch because she looks so nervous. To to me, it feels like she's peer pressured into this. And then afterwards, she's like, I think you went through my cheek. And you can see her kind of move her tongue inside her mouth. And she's like, I think the needle went through my cheek. Right? Because that could cause nerve damage. Like, you never know what you're doing. And then she even worriedly asks him, like, am I going to get, like, facial paralysis? And he's like, no.
You guys marrying?
Tell you. Needles, this is how they do. They don't take out 10 different needles.
You went through like mine.
I
will not.
Clav, I'm sorry, I sniffed her, but
Also, the whole time, the live chat is talking about how she's a bucket. She's a minor. And also, he's getting donations from users that go by Jeff Epstein. So she's suing Clavicular in a civil lawsuit, which his attorney has come forward to say that none of this is true and that Clavicular is going to vigorously defend himself. But what does that have to do with anything else that's about to go down? Please hold. Your wait time is 1 billion minutes. Spending your whole day trying to get help is the worst. But Southern New Hampshire University, they'll treat you better. Their online students get unreal support from real people who can help with your application, check your papers for errors, and answer literally any questions you have along the way. It's like SNHU actually wants you to succeed. Crazy, right? SNHU truly is chef's kiss. Get started at snhu.edu/rotten mango. A guitarist gets sick right before the concert, and someone from the audience steps up to take their place on stage. It's a power move. A singer runs up and points a mic at a fan in the crowd, and they sing a verse of their favorite song to thousands of people. That feels like a power move as well. Just like how hiring Morgan & Morgan is a power move. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. They have over 100 offices nationwide and more than 1,000 lawyers. And with over $30 billion recovered for over 500,000 clients, Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting to get you full and fair compensation. In Florida, Morgan & Morgan secured a $644 million verdict for a client after the defense argued that the victim and his wife should receive nothing. And in Nashville, another client was awarded $10.6 million. Now that's a power move. If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/rotten or dial #law, #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/rotten or #law, #529. This is a paid advertisement. Do you guys know Gideon? So Gideon is part of... I don't even know how to categorize. Like, there's a lot of categories of YouTubers where they all do different things as their form of content. It's hard to say that Gideon fits into like the predator hunter category. He does, but he also like does other content. I think he started off as like a prank YouTuber. Here's the thing about Gideon. I know that as of recently, there has been some controversies of he was friendly with another YouTuber who maybe he did not align, I think, in political values with. I think there was like a whole thing there. I didn't do a deep dive into it. And then I do believe that he was arrested briefly where, I mean, it was not really like a substantial charge. They were live streaming, trying to go into a McDonald's. The cops were called. It was a whole thing, okay? It was the footage of the body cam of the arrest. Gideon was acting like an influencer would when they get arrested, trying to film content. It was, you know, the generic variation of like, do you know who I am? Do you know how much money I make?
No.
Yeah, that kind of situation. So that was just like a really bad look. But I think other than that, it seems from the very light research that I've done, Gideon is someone that everyone thinks is like a relatively like hopefully net positive in the world. Like he is putting people behind bars. He doesn't go as far as some other predator hunters. And he just has like a very unique way of doing it. Like I think if you've seen any viral clips of him, there's cops arresting pedophiles, and he's just like selfie recording himself, and he's just like, hey guys, So this one's going to jail, am I right? Like,
This is Angel. Right now, he's having a mental breakdown. His dogs are at home by themselves, so we're gonna have to find out a way to get them taken care of. He came here to meet a 15-year-old girl. This is the new addition to the team. Anthony and White Fred Hunters, a part of EDP Watch now. We just did this. We're in Brooklyn, New York.
very that vibe. And it's just kind of jarring to see the juxtaposition of like his very casualness along with the circumstances, but also like it's hard to hate on a guy who helps put people behind bars. Right. Anyway, he decides that he's going to, I believe Mason Hull's ex-girlfriend, Liv, reaches out to him and she's explaining like, I was dating this guy for 8 months. His name is Mason Hull and he is a looks maxer. He does have a TikTok following of like a couple 100,000 followers. That's growing now that he's been arrested, which is crazy. But he's nowhere near clavicular. He's like a small looks maxer, probably like 200,000 on TikTok. And she's like, I was going through his phone and I found CSAM. I thought he was cheating on me. I found CSAM. I went to the police. They're going to investigate it. And I've given them, like, she recorded it on her phone. So she's like scrolling through the Telegram messages, gave that all to the police immediately after leaving, which like huge kudos to her because there was no like, I'm going to confront him. And like some people were worried because sometimes like Ghislaine Maxwell, you know, you've got people who stay for whatever, fame, whatever. Anyway, but they were like, kudos to her. She got the evidence, left straight to the police, didn't come online. She's not trying to go viral with it. She did exactly what you're supposed to do. Police are investigating and it starts getting leaked here and there that something's going on with Mason Hull. And Gideon is like, okay, I want to cover this case, but he also knows if he starts reaching out, because I think at this point the ex-girlfriend hadn't reached out to him, if he starts asking around how to get in contact with Mason Hull's ex-girlfriend, Mason Hullo, is going to know what's happening. So he decides he's going to play an Uno reverse. That's how he describes it. He's going to go on the Discord and debunk the Hullo accusation.
So what I did was I put in my Discord, yo, this looks like a nothing burger. It's fake. And the Pred himself literally posted it on his own TikTok.
So there were whispers that something's going on with Hullo. Like, you know, weird charges, like something's going on. And Gideon goes online and he's like, no, it's not true. They're all fake. Okay.
Really? Oh, he's trying to play his Hullo side.
Yes. So it's a whole ordeal. I mean, all of the videos are on Gideon's YouTube channel. There's a handful of them. There's interviews after the fact. There's just a lot. So please go watch all of those in its entirety so that you can get a really good idea of what's going on. But they decide that they're going to confront Hullo. Okay. So Gideon. And then you have this guy, Alex from Predator Poachers. I don't really know much about him. But and then you have Liv, who is the ex-girlfriend. So those three are going to show up to Hullo's apartment and confront him.
Wait, I'm so sorry. Where did we go from? So he was defending Hullo.
Only because he knew that he wanted to do this video.
Why did he do that? So the girlfriend reached out to him.
It seems like it.
Oh, so then why is he defending Hullo again?
Because they're going to show up to Hullo's house. And if he didn't defend, then I think that like he wouldn't let them in and talk to them. Like it was like a whole...
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. I think that's why. I mean, he can probably explain it better. You know, it's not really the strongest aspect of this case in terms of the actual case itself, the criminal charges. Okay, honestly, the only reason you need to know about this Discord chat is because some people are upset with Gideon for even posting that on Discord in the first place, even though it was part of a grander scheme. And then second of all, at one point in the video, you're going to see Gideon almost comically pull out an Uno reverse card on Hullo's face. So that's really the only reason you need to even have this context.
So when he first met Hullo thought that Gideon is on his side.
Yes, but like, okay, see, it's difficult because Gideon is someone who catches predators. Right. So if you don't know anything about Gideon other than that, and Gideon shows up to your front door, you're not going to let him in.
Right.
Especially if you're a predator. Right. So then with that Discord message, it seemed like maybe Hullo was more open to letting him in.
Okay. So does Hullo know that they're coming?
No.
Oh, it's a surprise.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they get to Florida. They are in the back seat. That's like how the video opens, and you just see Alex from Predator Poachers. I know nothing about that man. Liv, Hullo's ex-girlfriend, Gideon on the other side. They're all like crammed into the back seat. And Liv says that after she left Hullo's place, she went straight to the police, and she did confront him on the phone after. She says he was just sobbing, calling me, absolutely sobbing, telling me he wants to talk to me, and he's so sorry sorry and he'll change, he'll go to therapy, and he's, doing all of this, and now he has demons inside of him, just all that type of bullshit. So they show up to his apartment door and they knock on the door. They're filming with their iPhones, and Hulo opens up shirtless and his hair is a mess. He looks like he just woke up. And Alex from Predator Poachers tells him, like, I don't want any neighbors to overhear anything and then call anybody and just have a shit show. Is it cool if we go inside and talk about it over hushed voices? None of us have any weapons or anything crazy like that. Is it cool if we come in?
Mason, before anything, I don't want any neighbors to overhear anything, then call anybody and just have a shit show. Is it cool if we just go inside and talk about it in hushed voices? None of us have any weapons or anything like that or any crazy shit.
So they're just like trying to convince Hulo to let them in. So at this point, Liv, the ex-girlfriend, is like waiting in the car.
Oh.
So it's just Gideon and Alex and their cameraman. I don't even know if their cameraman was there. Okay, so it's just like basically Alex and Gideon. Gideon says, when we went over to his house, we knock, he opens the door, he sees me and Alex, and I shit you not, I saw the life leave his face. So they start, try to convince him to get in, and most of it is like, you don't want the neighbors to overhear. So Mason Hulo, hello, lets them in, and Alex is saying things like, before anything, like, is any of that shit on Telegram? Is it stuff you made yourself, or did some dipshit just send that crap to you?
Is any of that shit on Telegram? Is it stuff you made yourself, or did some dipshits just send that crap to you?
So a lot of it is like them trying to play his side like an investigator, which is something that they do in most of their videos. I think objectively, the way that they are able to communicate with people is really cool, and is not cool. Cool is not the right word. Is effective, and is something that I guess people could learn from. However, I will say a lot of these videos, a lot of the content is not admissible in court. So just keep that in mind, right? Civilians cannot go around playing detective and get confessions out of people. It's not going to fly like that in most courtrooms. And he's just like, well, I didn't make anything myself. So he says that they're asking him all the questions of, did you know how old these kids were, like these victims in the videos?
The youngest age that you saw that these people sent to you? I don't even know.
And he just says he doesn't know, but he just felt really guilty about it. And this is where Gideon comes in. And Gideon is someone that, after my very light research on him, he has this phenomenal ability to say the most unhinged things with a complete and absolute straight face. And he just asks and clarifies. He's like, you felt guilty after you came? And he's like, after I just watched the videos and stuff, I felt guilty and I just couldn't, I don't know, I just had to delete everything.
I just felt guilty about it after.
Like after you came?
Yeah, like after I just watched the videos and stuff, I just felt guilty and I just had to delete everything.
And Mason Hulo starts giving them lots of different excuses. He said, I wasn't trying to go for younger. I was honestly just trying to go for a little younger than I am.
I'm trying to go for like younger. I was honestly just trying to go for a little younger than I am.
He says, because he's still like 18, he just wanted to see in the 16 to 18 range specifically, which is already a crime, it's bad, right? But that's his excuse. However, that's not the truth, because Liv already told Gideon the girls were like 3, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Not that it would be okay if they were 16, 17, but or even 18 and forced into this, right? But was it just girls or boys or both? He responds, both, mostly probably women.
Boys or girls or both?
Both.
Okay.
Mostly probably women.
I would hardly even call 18-year-old girls women, let alone little children that are nowhere near the label of women. Side note, the videos in possession are very bad. According to the police file, in one file it reads, the victim is between the ages of 8 and 10. She is being restrained by a device, so she can't fight back. She's like tied up.
Oh.
While another victim is even younger, 6 to 8 years old, and in short, according to the police report, she is being essayed and she's crying. Then in one of the longer videos, there is an 8 to 10-year-old little child who is also screaming and crying during the duration of the video. And that's just what's listed in this specific police file. It does state that in his possession, he had more than 10 images and videos. These are just 3 that we know of. In Gideon's video, he's asked, if it appeared to him like the children, the victims, were in pain. And Hulo responds, it seemed like they were probably just numb or drugged up. It seemed like they weren't really saying anything.
Did it seem like the kid was in pain?
It seemed like they were probably just numb or drugged up. It seemed like they weren't really...
Also, Hulo, the entire time, his demeanor is just like this. And his eyes are just like soullessly staring into the camera.
Wait, what? How is he out? He's not arrested after the... The girlfriend's report?
No, so they had to go through and I guess figure it out.
Is he still out?
No.
Okay.
I think Gideon was on it quick though, so it's not like there was a week in between. I think it was like the next day after the girlfriend reported to the police that Gideon was in Florida.
Wow, okay.
Gideon states that Liv, the ex-girlfriend, had told him that as she was going through his phone, she also discovered that he was looking up videos of animals being harmed, which raised a lot of alarms in her brain because they had just gotten a kitten together.
She saw in his search bar, he was trying to find videos of animals being harmed. And you know what's crazy? They just bought a kitten.
Now, Hulo later says that that's not true at all and that she's like half making up stuff just to make him look bad, but like, I don't really trust Hulo at all.
Yeah, it's like if she knew her spouse.
I have brand new kittens that I love with all my heart in my room that just obviously doesn't add up to what she's saying with that.
Obviously, that's not even the most alarming part. The most alarming part, aside from the alleged purchasing and possessing of CSAM, is the fact that he has a little sister around 10 years old, which, according to the police report, a lot of the victims depicted were in that age range. He also has a little sister that's an infant, and they ask him, so Gideon and Alex are asking, confronting him, were there any thumbnails in there to where the body shape of that girl or boy looked the same age as your little sister?
Was there any thumbnails in there to where the body shape of that girl or boy looked the same as your little sister?
He says that's not what I wanted to look at. Obviously, you didn't watch it, but you did see there was a body type that looked like your 10-year-old sister. Probably yes.
Probably yes.
Were they white, Asian, black? He responds,
I want to watch more white people.
He says that he just he didn't really try to look for younger. He just bought a package basically, and he was just swiping and self-pleasuring. But specifically, if you note back to the alleged screen recording of the messages, the seller is saying things like CSAM, teens, all groups. So it seems like he specifically asked for CSAM.
Mm-hmm.
So, and not that it would make it better if he was watching teenagers, but it's just like he keeps trying to be like, oh, I didn't want younger. It just happened to be in there and I was just swiping. And there's like this really weird part. I get what they're trying to do, but they're like, so your hand was down there the whole time? And they're like, was it moving up and down? Like they're trying to get him to admit that he was getting gratification out of watching, but...
Did you make those videos of the 12-year-olds? Was your hand going up and down on your penis?
He said that he was just watching normal shit and his body and mind just got curious and craved more. He says, quote,
I felt extremely guilty after, and I still do till this day.
So Gideon leaves, and this is pretty much like I wouldn't say a confession in the legal sense, but as close to admitting to the crimes as you can get on video. Okay, like it's pretty damn near there. And after he leaves, Hulo's response is doing things like posting a selfie of him at the gym with Looks Maxing music, and he writes on there, no stress, there's always two sides to a story. Coincidence that she's overly pushing, trying to get this out on social media after us separating. Easiest way to spread misled information is online, and therefore I will release with a video on my behalf. With time, the truth will reveal itself. Stay tuned.
What?
Another one reads, making a meme joke about a matter like that doesn't seem serious. She says it destroyed her career. Why is she having a great time now that it's out? Think about framing someone online that there's only so many options. They are smart. I don't know. The peptides have infiltrated his gray matter and they're wreaking havoc because I don't know what this means. He also posts screenshots between his ex-girlfriend and someone else that, in my opinion, I don't know how legitimate these messages are. They just seem super fake. It shows his ex-girlfriend allegedly messaging someone. Hi, do you have the messages I sent? They respond, yeah. She responds, good. We are going to set him up. Everyone is going to think he is a PDF. Liv was like, those messages are fake. No one believes those, right? Because that's exactly how someone talks when they're going undercover to take down a small public figure, right? That's exact. Furthermore, Hulo's ex-girlfriend states that they didn't even have enough money to buy food, and this is not her complaining like, oh, he wasted our money. This is her saying like, that's the level of depravity. Like, yeah. She's like, he's using whatever money they did have to purchase CSAM, and that's why he's saying things like CP $25 max, which has become a meme. So if you go into this case, you're going to see a lot of people saying $25 max, 25 max. Which even Hulo decides that he's going to jump in on the meme because he posted a looks maxing video. And by looks maxing video, I mean clenching your chin, posing really uncomfortably in a way that makes you look like some sort of anime action figure, but incredibly unnatural, sucking in your cheeks. And then you're just doing like selfie videos, thirst trap videos. He posts one of those with 5 times 5, like 5x5, which is 25. Does he just think this is a hoot and a holler? Like, he says he wasn't memeing just to meme it. He did it because, quote, oh, that's just everyone saying it.
I saw you post like the 5 times 5 thing, like,
Oh, that's just everyone saying it.
And it's crazy because during all of this, you have people defending him. You have fans defending him. You also have fellow moggers, besties, Chad moggers with oatmeal for brains, brain as smooth as his skin. He posts a selfie of the two of them in the car. Hulo looks unnatural just posing, and he writes in the caption, as a former defense attorney and someone who has faced allegations before, I know the importance of waiting to hear both sides. Stop judging as if you know someone's life and let the facts come to light. They were also organizing that he was going to do some sort of big interview with another looks maxer, but I don't think that if it happened, it's probably not going to air. Yeah. Gideon at one point starts going through Hulo's phone during this video that he filmed, and he points out, like, I don't know what algorithm it was or one of the social medias, but he's like, why'd you like this picture of this really young looking girl? To which Hulo transparently says, so I'd get more posts like that to see more.
I'm being honest, I like that one.
Yeah.
So I'd get more posts like that to see more.
And he's like, oh, that makes sense. You built this brick by brick. No pun intended.
you built this big brick by brick. No pun intended.
So Gideon is saying, like, you built your algorithm brick by brick. He says that he understands his girlfriend was traumatized because she clicked some of the links and saw the CSAM. But he says,
I feel like she really is trying to ruin my life.
I feel like if anything, I need to go serve what I did wrong and then maybe go to like a facility treatment center. And throughout this entire video, like, they kind of framed it as we're just filming so you can't later say we came in here and beat you up. It's for safety. And then later at the end, he's like, are you guys going to post this?
Yeah, but are you posting it?
No, I'm not posting that.
Yeah. And they tell him no. And then he's like, then what are the mics for?
What are the mics for?
And he's like, I just don't want, anything to go online. I just don't want to see my face on the internet right now. And they're like, that's totally understandable. He contemplates deleting his social media, saying, I truly just want to delete my account after confessing. I don't even like watching TikTok because people are making fun of me left and right. There's no point in even having it.
I don't even like watching TikTok because I'm not strong there. People are making fun of me left and right. Like, there's no point in having it.
Gideon, after going on a monologue about how Hulo needs to confess to the internet, when he sees Hulo checking out of the conversation, he hits him with the, you ever do swimming? You have like a swimmer's body. And then he's like, oh. And Gideon's like, no homo.
Did you do swimming? You have like a swimmer body. No homo.
Thank you. It's just the shoulder up. It's the up shoulders. And he's like, it's kind of like you have a Michael Phelps build. And then somehow Gideon convinces him to do like a selfie style video. So Gideon is recording his face and it looks like he's like, it's like a fan meet. Okay, Gideon is the fan. Not saying he is a fan, but like the recording style.
Okay.
And then he's like, Mason, no more child porn, right?
Mason, no more child porn, right?
And Mason is nodding and looking away. Last time?
Last time?
And he's looking away, mewing, running his hand through his hair. And then Gideon literally pulls out an Uno reverse card. Because remember, so a lot of people were actually mad at Gideon when it was happening that he had discredited the allegations against Hulo on his Discord.
Okay.
So a lot of people are like, I thought you're for catching predators, not protecting predators, right? Yeah. So he was like, I did it for the long game, like Uno reverse.
He handed a card to him?
He just kind of waved it in his face. I don't know if Mason took it, yeah.
What's Mason's reaction?
He's like got no reaction this whole time. He's just like soulless eyes.
I mean, I guess what could you do at this point?
Mason Hull was eventually arrested May 6, 2026. He is now facing 15 counts of possession of CSAM. His occupation in the arresting documents read TikTok influencer, which he was released on bond. That bond was revoked because he kept going online. In fact, he went on a Discord where they played pretend court
According to court documents, investigators say Ho violated those conditions. Records also allege he was seen on Discord, taking part in what's described as a mock trial and making jokes about the criminal case.
So it was like a Discord server with a bunch of people, and one of them was like, I'm gonna be the judge, and then the other person was like, I'll be the prosecutor, I'll be the defense attorney, and Mason...
On this case?
Yes, and Mason was in the chat.
Like, he just snuck in, or he knew?
No, he knew.
Oh.
And they're like all there. It's like a video, like a Zoom meeting on Discord.
Oh, they're having a fake little trial.
Yeah.
Mason was a part of it.
Yeah. And they're like, Your Honor, my client. And they're just like doing dumb shit. And he's there.
I'm so confused.
Yeah. So the bond was you cannot be on social media. You cannot be on the internet unless it's to speak to your attorney. So they revoke his bond. Now he's back in jail. He's still posting.
In jail?
Someone is posting on the account.
On his social media? Mm-hmm. Posting what?
His, like, the vault. They call it the vault of just fucking weird thirst traps.
They're posting thirst trap right now?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Who could possibly be posting right now?
His manager, who knows? And some people are commenting and they're supporting him in his comments. One comment says, can't we just forgive him and stop being jealous? Another says, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think he's a bad dude. Another comments, one minor imperfection you have. Another writes, Hulo is pred-maxing. One states that for Hulo to get out of his charges, he has to, quote, Hulo got a IQ max, bro. Another says, no more CP maxing. But there are genuine defenders who are saying things like, what he was involved with is somewhat disturbing and wrong. But at the same time, I do not believe he is evil or a genuine danger to society in the way people online are making him out to be. From what has been said about his behavior and interest from a young age, it seems like he is a mentally ill person whose mind became corrupted over time through exposure and disturbing content in unhealthy internet spaces. I also feel like Gideon should have focused more on exposing the distributors and people behind the material instead of mainly turning Hulo into a viral target online. What? One person comments, being mocked by a pedophile is so brutal. How do any of us even recover from this? Another, because he's facing 25 years. One comment writes, 1 year for each dollar he paid for CCM is crazy work. One person comments, looks maxer in PDF. Prisoners are going to be opening him up like a kid on Christmas. To which one person comments back, I don't like how that was worded. Another person comments, his cellmates are going to appreciate all the looks maxing he's done. Another person comments, people defending this because he's attractive proves how cooked social media is. If this was some random ugly dude, nobody would hesitate to call him a monster. Protect kids first, not influencers. Now, I will say this about Gideon. I know lots of people have opinions about just like the whole niche of content that's created with predator catchers. And like really that could be said about any niche of content online. I do think I don't really know much of his lore, but I think without his video, Hulo might have a lot more defenders. Because these are the exact group of people who are inclined to say things like the ex-girlfriend's lying because she's jealous. Like that, I think that would have been the rhetoric by a lot of people. I don't know if it would have been all people, hopefully not. But I think him able to get the video of him confessing to it, at least for the public to see, even if it becomes inadmissible in court, I do think it helped a lot with this case. So, what are your thoughts on all of this? Let me know in the comments.